Hey, everybody. Thanks for checking out today's broadcast. My name is Jonathan, and today is day 240 of my 3-year challenge to lose 300 pounds. That means it's 8 months, right? Um, I been pretty happy with how things have been going so far. I'm really excited to be where I'm at this point at 8 months in. And if this is your first time kind of checking out my channel or my videos, a little bit about me is I'm 39 years old. I'm married, have 4 children, and I've been overweight my whole life. It's something that, yeah, from as long as I can remember, any photos I've ever seen of myself, I've been overweight or pudgy in some way. And, it's just been, as I grew up, it just kind of became who I was. I was always, kind of the biggest guy in the room, or the fat, the strong fat guy is kind of what I always felt I was, and over the years, I've lost weight and I've had success with losing weight, but I've not been able to maintain that weight loss and keep the weight off. And last year I found myself at 520 pounds and knew I needed to do something to get the weight off, and I needed to make a drastic change. And that's, how I got started with this. I kind of tried to take different pieces from diets I've done in the past that, as far as the mental parts, to try to help me, and I've just kind of been piecing this together as I go. The only things I knew when I started was that I wanted to do this for 3 years. I wanted to lose 300 pounds, and I was going to water fast for 30 days to get it started. That turned into a 42-day water fast, and then I switched to a whole food plant-based diet with no added salt, oil, or sugar in anything that we eat. Carrie's checking in saying hello. Hello, Carrie. I hope everything is going great at home today. Um, it's been a few days since I've been on. I had the weigh-in on Wednesday, and then I had talked about it on Monday and Tuesday about that Wednesday was going to be my last day, but then I finished up the stream on Wednesday and kind of realized I don't think I talked about that I wasn't going to be on for the next couple days. So I am back. I survived the weekend. It has been an incredibly busy, crazy day. Being off of work for a couple, for Friday and Saturday, trying to get a bunch of stuff ready to go because I have a very busy month coming up. July is kind of my busiest month. And then on top of that, I threw in doing a sprint triathlon in the middle of July that I'm freaking out a little bit about because I only have 18 days to get ready for the sprint triathlon, and I don't feel close to ready. I feel like I'm progressing, but I don't feel like I'm where I need to be. And I'll talk a little bit more about that here. But and then I usually have my stream notes on the computer, and didn't get a chance to put them up, and so my notes are all on a piece of paper here today, and everything's kind of crazy, and I have a lot I want to talk about. I don't know if I'm going to talk about it all today, or if maybe I will talk about some stuff tomorrow. But the big things I was gonna say here to start was because it's my 8 month, I kind of hopped on the scale to see what I weighed, and I was after this weekend, I got on the scale. I was 333.2 pounds, and so overall, that's 186.6 pounds down at the 8 month mark. I'll do an official weigh-in with the camera and everything on Wednesday. Hopefully I don't gain weight from the 333.2, but it could happen. It's only a couple days from now. And with the busy weekend we had, I wasn't probably eating as much as I will be eating the next couple days being at home. just because we were not in a position to have some of the great dinners that we normally have. In fact, I'll have to try to think about what I even ate this weekend, because I did eat a decent amount of food, I feel like, but it was mostly like dehydrated mangoes and Ezekiel bread with peanut butter on it. And it was just a busy weekend, and I was dealing with a lot, trying to make sure that the kids were taken care of, and Carrie and the dog and everything was taken care of. So I'm gonna go through and just kind of, yeah. So being that it was 8 months, I took some progress photos that I realize now I don't have it here. So the progress photos are the photos from my front image here, which is going to come up, and I'm going to shrink it down. So I shared the front photo there and then the side-by-side photo there on my Instagram actually just about an hour ago. So I really haven't even looked at any responses from the Instagram. I know I got a few alerts on my phone, but I didn't have a chance to look at them. But I also posted them on a couple pages on Reddit. I generally have been posting my photos on a Reddit page, Super Morbidly Obese, because that's where I am. That's what I, at 520 pounds, those are my people. And then I also posted on progress pics and really I post on progress pics because it gets me like the most reach as far as like people to see my progress. I get the most upvotes or the most likes, but I likely won't be posting on progress pics much anymore because I got banned for 30 days on progress pics today. And I don't know if you'll be able to read it, but it says you've been temporarily banned from participating in our progress pics. This ban will last for 30 days. You can still view and subscribe to progress pics, but you won't be able to post or comment. Note from the moderators: only one post per original poster every 30 days is permitted. So that's why I got banned. I thought of a lot of things I wanted to reply, but I just replied with, it must be stressful to have to deal with all these rules, and I hope you find time to enjoy your lives. That's like the third time I've had a post removed. It's the first time I've ever been banned from the forum. So it is, I mean, like I said, I post it there because it does give me a huge reach. My posts on Reddit that have the highest karma, like, it's not my number one karma post on Reddit, that not that it matters, is from fasting, because it's from when I finished my 1,000-hour water fast. But progress pics, it reaches a lot of people. It gets me a lot of feedback. If somebody sends me a private message or something, because that's what's difficult with progress pics on Reddit, is I can't talk about extended fasting because they don't support extended fasting. So I get a lot of grief from people because they're like, "Oh, well, you're not talking about what you did," and if I could change anything about where I'm at with the whole food plant-based diet, it would be that I didn't fast to begin this, but I'm not going to change that because I wouldn't have lost the 90 pounds. But I wonder how far away I have to get from that 1 month before people start to give, the people that are giving all the credit to the fasting, or give a lot of credit to fasting. And it was 90 pounds of the 186 pounds that I've lost. But for time, I've been on this diet for 6.5 months. I fasted for a month and a half. So anyways, I can't talk about fasting on any of the comments. I can't put it in the title. And so, or else they'll remove the post. And so a lot of times people will bring it up because they'll look at my post history and see my other posts that I can talk about that. And then they make a comment on progress pics, and I just have to be like, I can't say anything. So anyways, And then I also can't promote this channel. So the only way it helped me with promotion, I guess, would be is if somebody sent me a message. And a lot of times if somebody sends me a message, they're very like, they're reaching out for a reason. They want more info about what I'm doing. And for me, there's no more info about what I'm doing than this channel. You know, like watching these videos, like you can ask me what I ate, you know, when I first started this diet, and I can try to remember the foods we ate. But if you go and you watch my videos from when I started eating this diet, then I talk about it in real time. And so, so when I get private messages, a lot of times that is when I let people know that I have this YouTube channel. And if they come and check out my videos, that'd be great. If not, whatever, they're still here and I'm still showing up and I'm still posting them. So, so I am probably not going to post on progress pics anymore, just because it's kind of, it's frustrating to lose the time that I spent to answer the questions that I could answer. Like, and then also to get the grief I get for not talking about fasting. It's not really worth it for the hassle I just had. You know, I mean, like I had multiple people that asked me questions or ask things about, because I could talk about a whole food plant-based diet, and I sit there and I spend the time to reply to the comment, and I edit my reply, and I proofread it, and I reread it, and I get distracted. I do other stuff, and then I come back and I have to remember where I was in replying to that comment. And so if it's just going to get removed, it's not worth the time. So that's my rant on getting banned for 30 days from a Reddit page that really doesn't matter. So, the other, let's see. So then I was just going to kind of go through my weekend chronologically here. I hope we don't have anything going on tonight, because I'm probably going to be on for a minute. So you might want to let me know. So yeah, like I said, this weekend we traveled. We ended up being in the car between 14 hours and an eternity. It was somewhere in that frame, with the 4 kids and the dog. We split up the trip down because we were able to stay at our in-laws. Whipping up some miso soup. That's a big smile. Yeah, I was asking for miso yesterday. So, anyways, traveled down. We had to go south of St. Louis. St. Louis is about 5 hours for me, and then we had to go another hour and a half past that. You know, going on a big trip like this, there's a lot of things that you worry about. We did a lot of pre-work to get ready to make sure that we had food. And we still had to pull an audible when we were down there. We still had to make some changes when we got down there. But Carrie had brought a lot of things, and she actually listed nuts, oatmeal, the mango, the bread, the peanut butter. Those were all things we had brought down with us to have. Carrie says our diet was the least of our issues this weekend. Probably at the end of it all, what I was going to eat was the last thing I was thinking about. And really, that's why I felt like I didn't eat a ton, you know, just because I was stressed about so many other things. But so what we were going down there for is Carrie's family does a family reunion. She has a very large family. And so they go down and they have this thing every year. They've been doing it for over 35 years, that they've gotten together with all their cousins and done this float trip on the Merrimack River down in St. Louis. It's a great time. It's awesome to see all of the family. It's really great for my kids to get to interact with, you know, Carrie's cousins, kids, and their grandkids. And so there's a lot of people there. I mean, I don't know the number, but it's over 50, you know, that's there for the whole weekend probably, and then more people coming in and out. And so it is really a great kind of event to go down to, and the kids love to do it because they, it's kind of a free for all for them. And I love it, because we don't have to stress so much about watching the kids, because somebody's going to make sure that they're not killing themselves, or, sometimes you get stuck making sure that somebody else's kid isn't killing themselves. So that's kind of, the downside. But anyways, it's a great trip, or it's a great event. And we did a pretty good job prepping for food. The only things that we ended up doing, like I said, that I would say that we called an audible on, or is that because we have 4 kids and they don't allow dogs at the cabins where we were at, we rented, I guess it's called VRBO, Vacation Rental by Owner. It didn't really cost us much more than a hotel room would have costed us. And we were fairly close to where the camp out was happening. But because we had that place rented, there was an oven there. And so when we got down there Friday night, we were going to be doing a float trip all day. Saturday, we just stopped at a grocery store real quick and bought a bag of potatoes and baked a few potatoes just to make sure we had a little bit of extra food while we were floating. And it worked out nice to have those extra baked potatoes. And then we also bought a bag of steamed like rice that had some broccoli and carrots in it. You just throw it in the microwave and you can steam it up. And then I guess what kind of also helped kind of round out the weekend for us as far as our diet is the fact that Carrie's mom and dad have switched to a diet very similar to ours, whole food, plant-based. They're limiting their salt, oil, sugar intake. So they actually had some salad dressing that was the same set dressing that we make at home. So we were able to put that with the potatoes, and I put that on the rice. So that was kind of, how we managed with the food while we were dealing with this weekend. And like I kind of said, we had a lot going on. Our dog got car sick, and then on the way down, so we were dealing with that. And then when you have 4 kids, you have to stop to go to the bathroom every half hour, and they're hungry every 10 minutes. So there was a lot of just trying to get down there. They were excited to get down there. The ride back was probably more stressful than the ride down, just because you didn't have the excitement of going there. And that's something I've talked about with Carrie. We've traveled, like when we were dating and stuff, and there's a small airport that's right near where I live. Or you can fly into Chicago and then drive 2.5 hours. And for me, on a return trip, I almost always prefer to have the fastest return trip possible. So if I can, or at least stressful for me, if I have to sit at the airport in Chicago for a little bit to catch a plane to the local airport, I'm willing to do that if I don't have to sit there and drive for that last 2.5 hours, especially at the end of the vacation. It's not a worry, when I'm going somewhere. You're excited. You're willing to drive 2 hours, 3 hours to get there. It's that trip back when everything's done and you're just like, I want to get home. And so that trip home, yeah. And then we did the whole drive home, straight home instead of stopping, which was a lot of driving on a Sunday after the kids had been on a float. That's, an 8-hour thing. It's probably a little long. It wasn't 8. I guess it was probably 6, but, and then, yeah. And so we, really, it wasn't, we had, like I said, we did a pretty good job planning out what we were going to do for our diet when we got there. Really overall about the whole event, kind of the biggest thing for me was how people were going to react to seeing me and Carrie, and trying to figure out, where was I at when the last time they saw me versus where am I at now? Because with COVID, it's kind of been at least a year since I saw any of those people. And, but, and then Carrie's parents have switched to this diet and they've had success with it and they're seeing results. So, kind of a lot of the family has asked them what they're doing. And then they say, well, they're doing what me and Carrie have been doing. So, people kind of already know or knew kind of what we were doing to lose weight. I did have a few of Carrie's aunts and uncles make a comment to me just about that I looked better, which is great to have people notice those things or say things like that. I did not really have anybody ask me about my diet. It was probably either that they, they already maybe knew that how we were eating, because it was kind of I'm sure it was more of a thing talked about when we weren't around than when we were, because the event is such where everybody kind of pitches in and pays for all of the food, but me and Carrie don't eat any of the food. Like, all of our kids' food was handled. We didn't have to worry about bringing anything other than maybe some bags of tortilla chips for our kids and then having like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches on the float trip. But like the dinner and the 2 breakfasts were completely provided by the group. We all, we, and us being the vegans, we were assigned to bring orange juice and corn. They didn't have us buy the bacon or the eggs or the other stuff. And so Carrie says, yeah, lots of not so healthy food there. The kids loved it. They did have a great time. Lots of s'mores. There's flavor infused s'mores now where they have the chocolate and the cookies and cream and everything inside of them. So that is something new that I have not had a chance to, and that was a comment that I had on one of my Reddit things, is how do you, get over the not ever eating something again. And for me, that's not as tough, because I'm kind of like, well, I've had it. I have that, I'm very kind of I have that in my library of memories of tastes or whatever. But it's when they come out with new things like a cookies and cream marshmallow, or they had like I feel like there was a strawberry one, that they were using these different flavor ones for s'mores. Those are like new inventions, I guess, in food that I will never try. And, and I'm not worried about it anymore. But so anyways, the thing for me that I really liked about this weekend, as far as my diet or overall, it felt kind of like, it's weird because it's hard to explain the situation that we're in and everything, but like, Carrie's family is not only large, in quantity, they're large people on average, I guess is what you would say. There are a large group of them that, like when I've said before, I am almost always the biggest guy in the room. When I'm with Carrie's family, there's a few of us that, outside of when we're hanging out at these family reunions, we are the largest people in the room, and so it is something where I know that those people who have seen me fatter, and they probably have seen me skinnier, because there was a period a while ago that I was thinner than I am now, but not much. I'm feeling like I'm so close to that. But anyways, but I feel like, so there's this group within this huge group of people that are very overweight, and they're always, what are you doing? Or and there's been a few of them have had surgeries, or a few of them have, lost weight doing different things, but not really, lots of yo-yoing happening, and lots of kind of where I was a year ago in the just being accepting where I'm at. A year ago, if you'd asked me about my diet, or if you'd get, and my little brother he'd give me shit about my diet, I would just laugh it off, or just whatever. Like, it's, and that's where you either you get yo-yoing, or you just accept that is your station in life. And so, so we watch, you watch each other, you see, each other, you want to know how they're doing. And there was a guy I follow who's been doing great progress, and he's lost a ton of weight, and he does YouTube, or he does a social thing like this where he shares his progress, and he's done great, and he's very close to where his goal's at. And he went to an event. Then he was very excited about being able to go to this event because of COVID restrictions being, lessened, and getting to see these people that he hasn't seen for a long time. And he was very open about what he was doing, and he had photos of his friends and them hanging out, and videos and stuff. And he let himself go for the weekend. He let himself be like, hey, I've been doing so great. These guys want to go have Denny's at 2 a.m. We're going to go grab Denny's at 2 a.m, and I'm going to grab something, and I'm just going to live my life this weekend. I've been doing so great. And I've had all this progress, I need to live a little. I need to treat myself. And I understand the mentality, and I understand the want of doing that, and why he did that. But I see the pictures of his friends, and I see the pictures of the people that he's around, and more than one of them would benefit from following in his footsteps. And he doesn't go in any direction. I wouldn't go the direction that he's went as far as his diet or his routine. But I guess the way I'm relating is, like, I went to this event, and I wanted to show people that I could live this way. I can have just as much fun as they were having, and do way more than I would have done 2 years ago when we had the event, when I was 500 pounds. And to be able to show that the success of the weight loss, and the progress that I've made, but also show the willpower of doing it. Because I feel like with that guy, he's in front of these people, and they're like, wow, you look amazing. What are you doing? And he says, I am doing this and this and this. And then that's awesome. And they're like, hey, let's go to Denny's. And he's like, yeah, let's go to Denny's. And he grabs a meal or whatever from there, or they go fast food, or whatever they do. And then they see him eating fast food, or they see him eating junk food. Then they associate, oh, well, he lost all that weight and he gets to eat Denny's, so I can just figure out how to lose weight and eat Denny's. And that's not how he lost the weight. He didn't lose the weight and eating Denny's. He lost the weight doing all that stuff he talked about. But what you saw is going to be more imprinted in you than what you heard. Like, you seeing him eat that stuff, and that's what I kind of felt like, right. And that's why I felt like it was more important for us to show how to succeed on our diet. And Carrie says here, one of her cousins is interested in it. And it's because there's lots of reasons to be interested in it. And so they were asking, what foods we packed for the floats, what we eat for breakfast. And they wanted to know how we are living this lifestyle. And that's what I want, like, I sat there on the float, and I ate an orange or two, and Ezekiel bread with peanut butter. And Carrie had some chips that she baked from home with avocado or guacamole. And we enjoyed ourselves just as much as everybody else that was stopped for lunch, having whatever they were having, and and really it's there were moments, where I was having to do things that I wouldn't have been able to do 200 or 186 pounds ago, that, getting to be able, doing those things, it was just nice. And so that was, kind of, like I said, for the trip, everything was great. We had it did rain on us a decent bit. I mean, it was wet like all the time that we were there, which was unfortunate, but we made the best of it. Carrie's dad is an expert fire starter, and that's what her dad's the guy they go to when they want the fire to go, and he loves playing with the fire. So that's why I was saying that. But yeah, it was nice to be able to show us succeeding on the diet. Me and Carrie talking about multiple times how we're both excited for the next time that we get to see them, because we don't, it's month periods between when we get a chance to see her family. And so it likely won't be till the holiday season, which, is 4 to 6 months from now. And so, where we'll be at 4 to 6 months from now, I'm really excited because, it's going to get tougher for me to lose weight, but as I lose this weight, it's going to be more noticeable. I think that I guess September is, Carrie says we're going to be in there September for a family wedding. So it's going to be a couple months, but I hope to, people to see how I look 10 pounds lighter in a couple months. That's going to be a big amount of weight versus if I lost 30 pounds 6 months ago, because I was, you get so big that people don't realize the difference between 400 and 500 pounds. You're just, and a lot of times if at any point I have ever told anybody what my actual weight is, almost any time they were like, there's no way you're that big, because they don't have a frame of reference, because they have not been that big. And you can hide a lot underneath fat, I suppose, too, and where your fat is situated on your body. If you look at my progress pics there, my fat is definitely in my width and not in my my depth, I guess. My side photo from that update is much more what do you want? I don't know what the word I'm looking for. Impressive than the, I don't know why this thing just popped up, but I wish it would go away. Just stop. Okay. There we go. Just get in my way some more. Pop-up windows. So, the trip was great. Kids had a great time. The drive down sucked. Drive back sucked more, but it was never, and it's one of those things where we didn't have anything to be tempted by. Not that, and we're so into our diet that it's tough to be, nothing would really tempt us, and so, like the stress of when we're riding back, if I was going to stress eat, I was going to stress eat dehydrated mango. And, we ate a lot of dehydrated mango. I think we had 5 pounds between the two of us over the weekend. So, and I probably ate the lion's share of that. But one of the things that we did do on the trip down and the trip back, since we were in the car for so long, is we did listen to an audio book that I'm going to talk about a little bit today, I guess. And then, I'll just talk about the audio book today. The book we listened to was called Sick to Fit. It was a book that they reference in The Plant-Based Athlete. And I'm almost done with the Plant-Based Athlete book, but I didn't want to listen to the last 40 minutes of it in case Carrie would ever be interested in listening to that book. And so they had referenced this book. Like I said, it was called Sick to Fit. It's written by Josh Lajani and Howard Jacobson. Josh Lajani is an ultra marathoner now, I guess, but his story and the reason why I wanted to read the book or listen to the book on Audible was because he started out, he was 420 pounds. He decided to lose weight. I think he was 33 kind of when he started doing his weight loss. He lost about 100 pounds just by being active, just by doing something. And that's his big thing. You just got to do something. He lost 100 pounds. And then after losing 100 pounds, he switched to a whole food plant-based diet. And the book is a lot about diet, a lot about making choices. Carrie was not super into the book. I kind of, I liked the book. I liked the guy's attitude, I guess, or, just the way he talked about things. But, I'm also kind of one of those people too, where I was like, it's a 5-hour book. I'm going to, once I got an hour in, I was just going to listen to the next 4 hours regardless to see how it ended. And I really did appreciate the last chapter and then kind of the epilogue they did, because they do kind of sum up some of the ideas. What I was disappointed with is that I was hoping for more of an autobiography and less of a instruction manual, I guess, or less of a, and I'm going to have to try to maybe search for them, but I'm more interested in finding out that guy's personal story than kind of his motivation plan or his, he has his 3 pillars, which is menu, movement, and menu, movement, and mindset. And, he kind of, that's the book's broken down into that, and he explains everything in that. Carrie said it was less than $6 on Audible. If anybody was interested, it's sick to fit. But kind of the few things that the book talked about that I liked, or, there was a lot really. And without me having a pen in my hand and writing stuff down as we're listening to it, it's hard for me to go back and kind of judge the book, especially since we were doing kind of other stuff. But there was a lot of times where I stopped the book, and me and Carrie kind of had we would stop the book and have conversations about what they said, and kind of a lot of, just echoing kind of the ways we already felt. And Carrie says here that it was, we're already knee deep. Yeah, we're already knee deep in this way of life. We're not, and that's kind of what the plant-based athlete too is. It's kind of like a recruitment manual, and I don't need to be recruited, And so, yeah, the movement part was the most interesting. The menu and the mindset, I feel like we kind of have it. It's the movement part that was interesting. He's an ultra runner. I was telling Carrie, it makes me want to get out and push it, because he talks about in that, like, we are designed that we can go great lengths when we run, like if we were to go for a run, many humans can run a marathon if they're trained, or they could run even a half marathon. But if you were to put your dog on a leash and run a marathon with your dog, it would be inhumane to run at the pace that you run for the time as a human. And so we're more designed for distance running than a dog is, I guess, is, don't know why somebody is stopping by here, but, hold on. I'll be right back. Oh, you know what? They might be. They didn't knock. Maybe they're just dropping keys off. All right. So I'm not going to stop. Anyways, Carrie says she's going to have to start jiggle jogging. That's what the guy referenced, or called kind of his running when he first started. Cause he had already lost, 100 pounds before he even started running. So that was kind of, he had loose skin, and I have that same thing right now. Like when I go to run or when I move too fast, I can feel kind of the skin on my sides flapping, I guess, or jiggling as he would call it. Um and so yeah, it was interesting. The movement parts of the book kind of, like I said, were a bit encouraging, that that's what we're designed to do. And in fact, and he talks about that, like, we're designed to do that because of you know thousands and thousands of years of evolution. Like, it's not we're here, we're the product of generations of humans that moved great distances without needing to stop. They migrated, and they he references it, and I'd have to look more into it or research, but that we would out endurance the animals that we would hunt. We would just make them run from us until they got exhausted, and then we could continue to run, is a kind of what I think he was referencing, a bit of that. And so and yeah, and he talks about the natural obtainable quantities, how you could not have ever obtained enough quantity of some of these foods in nature to, like, that we get in just a bag now. Or like, the example, I guess, would be just any cheese. Like, cheese is super condensed milk, and so you wouldn't find a cow that you would get enough milk from to make it worth the hassle to turn it into cheese. You'd be wasting so much of it, and so, things like that, they're just not natural obtainable quantities in nature. And so, overall, the book was good. Kind of the end of it, like I said, the last couple chapters was really what I liked. And one of the big parts from the last chapter, or the kind of one of the things that they talked about that really resonated with me, was, and they kind of referenced it to, like, they said the word limitless, and I don't know exactly, but like, it was the idea of kind of, and me and Carrie talked about this a little bit on our way home, and in this book, I suppose, sparked some of that conversation. But it's that I now believe things that I thought I now have beliefs that are completely different than beliefs I had before. I never believed that somebody could sustain themselves on a diet free of animal product. And I never believed that there was a problem with the sodium that I was drinking in my Diet Pepsi because it was 0 calorie. And now I have new beliefs that are completely different from the beliefs that I used to hold. And so you have to wrestle with that. But then, on top of having those new beliefs, you sit there and you say, what else do I still believe now to be true that I'm going to find out isn't true, and it's just a weird kind of, I reference it to Carrie. It's kind of a matrix, kind of red pill, blue pill kind of thing with this. And I think that some of it is, gosh, I mean, I can go on forever about this, but it's the marketing that they've done to us our whole lives. We've been marketed to our whole lives. I feel like that if there's anything that I'm doing now that has benefited me, it's that I'm no longer a customer to somebody who has a marketing degree. The only way they can get me to be their customer in the food industry is to make the food the produce look riper. I mean, they make meat look riper already. They inject it with dyes. They make, and when we know that, they openly tell us that they trick us by making the meat look red. If they didn't put dyes in it, there would be brown, gray meat on the counters, and people would be less likely to buy them. And so they can't really do that with fruit. You know, they can make bigger fruit, but then you get you start to question once fruit gets so big. And I kind of question the oranges that we eat because they're so small. They seem like they're smaller than they should be. And so, but yeah, if anything that I'm happy about with this diet is that I'm not being sold to. You know, the shredded wheat that we buy is in a solid brown or red box that says the word shredded wheat on it. I mean, it could be a movie prop, you know, because the company doesn't care if their branding is on the box of shredded wheat. You know, there's no, yeah, there's nothing fancy to it, you know, like and so, but before, when I was eating another new food that I found out exists this weekend, I was talking about the s'mores. What's it called? Cinnamon toast churros, I believe is what it was. Is another food that I found out that I won't ever have. It's new to me knowing that it exists. I won't ever have. I don't know why I got sidetracked. Gosh, that really sidetracked my brain though. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just so happy I'm not being marketed to. I don't have to. Yeah. Oh, that's right. The cereal. Like, I totally would have bought cinnamon toast churros. I mean, all it is cinnamon toast crunch in a different shape. And that's still bad for you, you know? Carrie says, yes, our kids were big fans of the cinnamon toast churros. That's why I found out about them, because they came around the corner and I was like, what is that? It looked ridiculous. And so, yeah, so the book's good. I feel happy I'm not being marketed to. The camp out was a good weekend. So I was really annoyed because one of the notes I have written down about that progress pics post was, I was interested to see. So that picture that I am wearing here in this photo, it says, I don't eat anything that poops. I don't know if you can read it. I'm going to make it real big. So I don't eat anything that poops. And I was going to be very interested to see. So my progress pic photos, I don't know what the number is, but they've gotten about the same number of likes within whatever. And I was going to be I was interested in seeing if a pro-vegan pro-vegan shirt wearing person would get as many likes as like a keto. Because I'm sure there's a lot of people that probably assumed I did some sort of, you know, oh yeah, that guy, the only way he would have lost that much weight that quick is if he did keto or whatever, low carb or whatever. And I didn't. And so, yeah, so that post is down. I have been getting some comments on the super morbidly obese post that I'm going to go over that stuff tomorrow because I'm going to get out of here. We're at about 50 minutes. So it was a longer one today. I was out of town. I knew I wanted to talk a little bit today about what's going on. I'll try to go over some of the Reddit comments that I had because there are some questions that, you know, I like to respond to or answer. And, you know, you get asked some of the same questions. If you guys aren't already, make sure you do subscribe to my page, hit the bell icon, turn on notifications so you get alerted when I go live. I will be live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week, but it might be another travel Thursday, Friday. I'm definitely not here Friday, but I don't think I'll be on Thursday either. So be on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week. Make sure you like the video. I have an Instagram. I shared that progress photos from my Instagram or on my Instagram. So you can go on there and like those photos. We also do have a Discord that you can join the Discord. The link to that is down in the description. I did write down the names of the books that I'm reading in the description as well. I don't have any links for them, but they're down there. Yeah, so you guys have a good day. I will see you tomorrow. And I'm stealing this from that book, but you guys need to get started and keep going. I ruined my image to cover my face. There we go. Now I can leave, right? Have a good one, guys.